So Inversion is our third full-length album, and we've had most of it written since 2016 to 2018. Those 2 years we pretty much wrote the album. In fact, the title of the album, I remember how we got to discussing it. So we were having a barbecue in your backyard because we had just kind of got finished with Malediction, and we were planning, what was going to be like our plan for the new album. And it was you, me, Dan, and Justin, and we were in the backyard. And I just finished rereading The Scarlet Gospels by Clive Barker. We're all huge Hellraiser fans, and there's a section in that book where he's describing the landscape, the architecture of the world where Pinhead and all the other Cenobites come from. And the descriptions were just so awesome, and it really, that's kind of what influenced the theme of this album, which is let's kind of dive into that, and where does this hierarchy of intergalactic planetary consumers come from, and that's kind of how it all kind of came to be, and we kind of came up with that title at that barbecue. And just kind of started running in that direction. But musically, we hadn't finished recording Malediction.
Well, for me, it's typical of us, right? We'll have written the material and jammed on it for so long that we almost get to a point where it's like, okay, that's kind of old news.
Yeah.
So then we start working on the next thing that'll follow after it, right? I mean, like even with this, even with the new record, that we're just going to put out. Already working on new material, which will come out after that. I mean, and that just seems to be how we work.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why that is because you and I just jam. We meet up every single week. Doesn't matter the weather. Doesn't matter how tired we are, how busy our work days are. We meet up every single week to either go over stuff that we've written before, or to jam on new stuff.
Yeah. There's no guitar pro. It's not like it's a laborious process or whatnot, right? Where you're agonizing over riffs and transitions. I mean, if we don't like something, we get rid of it, and then we riff on stuff, and if it's not working, then we come back to it the following week, and then we probably forget everything we did the previous week, and we start over.
That's it,
And probably come up with an even killer idea, more killer idea.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, a lot of songs started because, we got to the jam, and you were listening to something, or I was listening to an album, and be like, dude, there's a section in this Angel Corpse song
That's right.
that we have to fucking do.
Yeah, we got those 3 notes right there. We got to do something with those 3 notes.
We got to start a song that goes dun dun dun.
Exactly.
Like, okay, and that's kind of what starts it sometimes, and then we just jam, and we're genuinely excited or genuinely into this music. So we'll jam, and the way that it ends up working out most of the time is when we jam, that becomes the song. Because we're in the pocket, we're not thinking theory, we're not thinking does it,
Well, nothing. I mean,
we're just jamming.
Yeah, we're totally in the moment, right? I mean, we're both feeding off each other in terms of feel, and I mean tempo is really irrelevant. I mean, and that's what's so nice about the songs. I mean, they do write themselves relatively quickly, and we learn them quick because as you're developing something, I'm already learning it, so we already know it, and then we just keep building and building and building.
Yeah.
Right, and then before you know it, we've got a song.
Yeah, and we don't write anything out. We don't really tab anything out. The most we ever do is just write out the song structure on the board.
Yeah.
The most we ever do.
Yeah, Cryptopsy-esque riff 4 times, Suffocation riff 3 times.
Yeah. Super trippy trend part. That's the most amount of organization. So the most challenging part in this whole writing process has been remembering what we jammed on the previous week. And out of that sometimes came some really cool new ideas. So I know that there's a section in track 4, which is Summoning the Cosmic Devourer. There's a whole section that, when you listen to the original demo and you listen to this album now, it's they're very similar, but it's just us kind of trying to remember how we wrote it.
Yep.
And it ended up just turning into a completely new section, which opened up the whole second half of the song, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's a really, really interesting and challenging way to write an album, but it was the most natural sounding to us. And I think all the songs to us, even though they don't jive maybe musically, like even within the song, there's like, track 4 is a good example. There's like 3 songs in that song,
Yeah.
like essentially.
Yeah, we wrote a number of different versions of it, and would cut one in half and get rid of part of it and keep the whole, keep the back half of it. I mean, and we did that even in the final version, right? I mean, where the chokes are almost right in kind of the.
That's right.
The right before it gets into the very slow section. I mean, towards the end. I mean, that was the original kind of break in the song, and we lopped off the whole front half of it, and we wrote a whole new thing. And I think what we wrote turned out to be just absolutely killer. I mean, it's one of my favorite things on the record.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. So even though those songs don't sound like cohesive songs, they sound good to us. They're fun to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we're probably the most proud about out of everything, is just at the end of the day, we listen to this album, and we've listened to it a lot now, because we just finished the whole recording process.
A lot.
So we've literally listened to these songs like 100 times, picking out the most minute things that maybe we wanted to change or tweak or whatever. And I'm still not sick of the songs, and I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, like, even some of these we've been playing since 2016.
Yeah.
And I'm not sick of playing them at all, right? I mean, whereas, we have songs off of like the first record or the second record where they ended up on the record, and that was like, about it, Or we did the CD release show, we played the song there, and then that's it. It's totally gone. Whereas these, we rehearse them regularly, we play through them regularly, and they're still a blast to play, 3, 4, and 5 years after the fact.
And that's really different for us. I think that's probably the greatest proof that this is our best album to date. Yeah. Is that we're still really enjoying the album and enjoying the songs. So
yeah, I look forward to playing. Yep.
But that's what's kind of fun about this stuff, and I think that if we were to talk about Inversion of the Unseen Horizon, for me personally, this is the best representation of what you would hear if you just came out to a jam and listened to us play here in a rehearsal space.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, the recording is like, I listen to it. I mean, the album just sounds like what I'm so familiar with.
That's
what I think of, and when I think about rehearsal, I mean, that's exactly what I hear, and I think what's good is because that's kind of almost how it was recorded.
That's right.
You and I in the room, you in front of me, which is, I mean, where you rehearsed today. I mean, you stand or sit in front of me. We did the same thing in the studio.
Yep.
And we tried to we basically played the songs all the way through, or as long a section as possible.
Yep.
So, and there's no click track on the record. It's all done live.
Which, by the way, thanks a lot, Topon, for
seriously
working with that, because we know it must have sucked. But the one great thing about the whole experience was, when we first went in, we had got click tracks made because we knew it was the thing that you needed to do for the audio engineer.
We had to look pro.
We had to look pro.
Topon's like,
he's like
does
the guy.
Real stuff. I mean, he's in like a real band that's like toured and does stuff, right?
And Topon's always been like the nicest guy. And the best sound guy.
I was just going to say, the best sound guy, man. If he's doing sound, man, the show is going to be killer.
Yeah. And we just know, even from doing albums and stuff with Dan, who recorded everything, like just having everything to the grid just makes editing so much easier. So we knew that we should have that.
We had to look prepared.
Yeah. So I had outsourced some guy to do these click tracks or whatever the case was, and we brought them in, and turns out like they were complete junk. Obviously, but we still, the first time we set up, we tried playing to the click track.
We tried,
and we just weren't locking in. And Topon picked up on it right away. He's like, "Wait a minute, do you guys jam to a click?" We're like, "No, we literally just got these clicks made today for you." And he's like, "Well, listen, if you're not comfortable, if you're not used to that, just do what you guys normally would do. It'll come across better, sound more natural." We were really happy with that idea, even though we were maybe still a little worried that, sometimes doing it live off the floor doesn't always translate to sounding professional. Yeah. And so we were really kind of reticent on that. But at the end of the day, the performance,
I think so,
solid, and Topon really nailed the production.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and that's one of the things I'm extremely happy with. I think was, just kind of had an idea of what we wanted, you know, like the sound to be like, at least for me, at least drum production wise, you know, I had kind of specific vision. I mean, I outlined this ridiculous PDF template that Topon, well, I'm blown away still, you know, he really went through and looked at all the sounds, all the references, like everything that I gave, you know, to him. And he nailed it. I remember the pre-production stuff that was done, and then the first drum mix that came out, I was just floored.
So good.
Oh, I was just floored at how I heard all of the things that I was looking for was immediately there.
Yeah.
And that set a real good base, you know, for us to be able to keep going. And I mean, the end product, I think, is just, it's still blown away.
Just 100% incredible. Actually, in the beginning, we were just going to get the drums and stuff recorded by Topon, and then we were going to send everything to get mixed by someone else that we had in mind. But after going to apartment 2 and spending time with Topon and realizing just how comfortable we were with him and how much he knows this music like, you know, front to back, you know, back to front, like no one else. And we spent most of the time just talking about bands and music that we liked.
Yeah, I just remember being super nervous. I was worried he was just going to say, everything I did sucked. That's you know, anyway. I mean, it didn't go that way.
No.
I mean, it was an unbelievably really great experience. It was super chill.
Yeah.
I think if he thought something was crap, I mean, he'd just say no.
Just said it. Just redo it.
It's not good.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it shows really in the end product. You know, just how like that attention to detail, the clarity. I think. I mean, you hear like every instrument, I think, is so clear, so well done and balanced.
Yeah, he did a really good job of like picking up our vibe and like finding where we were comfortable and just kind of saying, you know, let's just work with that. You know, if you guys are used to playing through a 5150 in your rehearsal space without a click, well, that's what we're going to record with. Bring your head, bring your pedals, bring whatever you're comfortable with, and you know, that's it. And I think that's the thing for me that I was the happiest about was everything was reamped through things that we, like, they're all my settings that essentially that we play with in the rehearsal space. So we were so used and so comfortable with the tones that we were hearing and getting out of it. So yeah, it just made everything sound phenomenal. But the songs themselves for us are not the most technical, I would say, that we've ever written.
No, probably not. I can think of probably some more weirder technical stuff, I guess, on the earlier album, especially on Malediction.
Yeah, Malediction has a lot of techie parts, and even In the Wake of Pestilence has like some really challenging sections, and it wasn't intentional. I think, you know, the fact that, you know, you and I have now been jamming together for a decade, we just kind of sink in, and we don't really care about it having to write something for this, you know, for the sake of being technical or.
Yeah, we're not a tech band or trying to drive the band in any specific direction. I think we just listen to a multitude of different stuff, and we just bring all of that in whenever we're working on material.
Yeah, I think, you know, in the beginning, and we talked about this before. In the beginning, when we started this band, we labeled ourselves, or members in the band labeled.
Super brutal tech,
we were
ultra death, or whatever.
Yeah,
like
we were
some ridiculous.
Yeah,
thing.
we were like extreme technical death metal or something like that, and then it was technical death metal. Then it was brutal, because then people after one of our first albums started labeling us as brutal technical death metal. So we're like, okay, well, let's run with that. And then it became like relentless death metal, and there was all like these like subgenres, and you know, you and I, we've just always believed we're just a death metal band.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't even think of it as like what we write or try to fit in any genre. I just think we come here and we jam and work on stuff that we like. Yeah. That's, you know, that's got, again, I mean, it's got a lot of different influences, and I think you hear that on the newest record. I mean, there's a lot of different feels, a lot of different influences, you know, from just full out death metal to progressive stuff to old school death metal to, I mean, there's just a lot of different feels, you know. I'm happy with the respect that we've tried to be able to incorporate so many different styles. I think really I think we did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really proud of this album. I think that that musically it's some of our best. It's the most cohesive sounding album in my opinion. Everything from the music, the lyrics, the artwork, the whole package, everything has been really cohesive, and it's a testament to just how well you and I kind of work together.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I really like that this album really had like a vision, and I think really everything that's been done or whatnot really is in line with that vision.
Yeah. And we didn't rush this album, and I think that's the thing that perhaps we wish maybe we would have done with the previous albums a little bit, was maybe just kind of giving it all some time to kind of settle before pushing out. Although all those previous releases we're really happy with at the time, and a reflection of where we were at the time.
Yep.
But this album in particular really shows that chill and laid back when it comes to the whole process.
I think so. I think the product we've got, I think, is the absolute best product we've done. I mean, from song structure, lyrically, production. I mean, I'm really proud of the performance on it. I mean, no, I think it's the best work we've done yet.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and the thing that I like about this album the most is that a lot of these songs were written over a long period of time, and we've been jamming these songs, almost every week for years, and we're still not sick of it. Whereas, we haven't jammed some songs from the first or second album ever
for years
after we've recorded and played it live. Like we just never did it because, we just aren't big fans of those particular songs or a couple of those songs. But with this album, we've literally kept playing, and we keep playing these songs over and over again. They're so fun to play. They're so heavy. They're so intense, and it's finally, I think, the music that we've been evolving to write.
I think so.
For the last 10 years. So hopefully you enjoy the album, and hopefully you feel what we feel, which is absolute hatred for mankind. So enjoy your life.